Your cat may look small, harmless, even lazy. But if you really observe it, it behaves like a king. Not because it's strong, but because it doesn't need to prove anything. Cats are one of the most common animals in human homes. They sleep, eat, and walk around like they own everything. And strangely, we allow it. But why? Why do cats act like they are in control, even in a world built by humans? Unlike dogs, cats were never fully domesticated. They didn't evolve to serve humans. They chose to live alongside us. And that changes everything. Because a cat doesn't seek approval. It doesn't need validation. It simply exists on its own terms. Cats don't control through power. They control through presence. They choose where to sit. They choose when to interact. And most importantly, they choose when to ignore you. And somehow, that makes them even more powerful. Cats don't control through power. They control through presence. They choose where to sit. They choose when to interact. And most importantly, they choose when to ignore you. And somehow, that makes them even more powerful. Cats sleep for most of the day. But this is not laziness. This is conservation of energy. Every movement is intentional. Every action has purpose. They don't rush. They don't panic. They wait. Cats are always watching, even when they look relaxed. Their senses are active. Their ears are listening. Their eyes are scanning, because awareness is their survival tool. To a cat, your house is not yours. It is its territory. Every corner, every chair, every hidden space belongs to them. And they move through it with quiet confidence. Cats don't chase power. They embody it. They don't try to impress. They don't compete. They simply exist. And that draws attention. In a world where people are constantly trying to prove, trying to be seen, cats remind us that true presence does not need effort. Even the calmest cat still carries the instincts of a hunter. A simple string, a moving shadow, a tiny sound can instantly trigger their focus. Because deep inside, they are still predators. Silent, patient, precise. When cats play, they are not just having fun. They are practicing. Every jump, every chase, every sudden attack is training for survival. And they do it without even thinking. Cats don't trust easily. And they don't trust everyone. If a cat chooses to sit near you or sleep beside you, that is not random. That is trust. And trust is something they give carefully. A cat will only truly relax in a place where it feels safe. That's why they choose specific spots, warm, quiet, protected. Because even in comfort, they are still aware. Cats are naturally curious. They explore everything. every box, every new object, every small change. Because curiosity is how they understand the world. Cats may seem distant, but they are not unaware. They can sense mood. They notice changes. They respond in subtle ways. Sometimes they come closer without making a sound, just to be there. Cats live in a balance between independence and connection. They don't cling, but they don't disappear either. They stay at just the right distance, where they remain in control. Cats don't make noise without reason. They move quietly. They observe silently. They act only when needed. And in that silence, there is strength. When the world sleeps, cats become active. Their senses sharpen. Their movements become lighter. Because the night is when they feel most alive. Cats love routine. They eat at the same time. They sleep in the same places. They move in familiar patterns because routine gives them control, and control gives them comfort. A cat doesn't need big actions to make an impact. A small head turn, a slow blink, a quiet step is enough to communicate everything, because in their world, subtlety is power. Cats don't announce themselves. They don't seek attention loudly. Yet somehow, they are always noticed, because real confidence doesn't need to be loud. Cats are incredibly adaptable. They can live in homes, on the streets, in cities, or in the wild. They adjust, they observe, they learn, and they survive in almost any environment. What looks like laziness is actually strategy. Cats rest so they can act at the perfect moment. They don't waste energy. They preserve it for when it truly matters. Cats don't do more than they need to. They don't overreact. They don't overextend. They act only when necessary. And that is a powerful lesson in itself. Cats don't lead by command. They don't control through force. But somehow, they influence everything around them. And that is a different kind of leadership. Have you ever noticed when a cat looks at you and slowly closes its eyes, then opens them again? That is not random. That is trust. In the animal world, closing your eyes means vulnerability. So when a cat does this, it's saying, I feel safe with you. When cats press their paws back and forth on soft surfaces, this behavior is called kneading. It comes from their early days as kittens, when they needed their mother to stimulate milk. So when your cat does this, it's a sign of comfort and memory. Sometimes, cats bring you unexpected gifts, a toy, or something they caught. This may seem strange, but in their mind, they are sharing. It's a behavior rooted in instinct and connection. Cats don't just see their space, They mark it by rubbing their face against objects or even against you. They leave scent signals that are invisible to us, but clear to them. This is how they say, "This is mine. This is safe." Cats sleep for long hours, sometimes up to 16 hours a day. But this is not laziness. This is biology. As natural predators, they are built for short bursts of intense energy and long periods of recovery. Cats sleep for long hours, sometimes up to 16 hours a day. But this is not laziness. This is biology. As natural predators, they are built for short bursts of intense energy and long periods of recovery. Cats don't eat like humans. They are obligate carnivores, which means they rely almost entirely on meat. Their bodies are designed for protein, not variety. And this shapes their behavior, their energy, and even their mood. Understanding a cat is not about controlling it. It's about observing its patterns, its signals, its boundaries. Because the more you watch, the more you understand. If you enjoyed this story and want to discover more about the hidden world of animals, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next story.